The idea is that many of you are now upgrading, and in the idea of fourth density reality, will reach a general average of the low 200,000s. And as you thus then, as we are doing, go up the ladder, so to speak, and become more the idea of quasi-physical beings, you'll come closer and closer and closer on average to the idea of the 333,000 cycle per second frequency domain. But the idea is that pi is a factor of that.
Right.
Thus then, if you begin there with pi as a seedling and begin to amplify it, you will amplify it in such a manner with that as the original basis that you will thus then be a harmonic of the higher frequency, and it will in a sense be easier to transition and shift from parallel world to parallel world that contains the harmonic of that frequency to allow you to feel the acceleration in a more visceral way.
Kind of like catching a wave, huh?
Yes, exactly.
When you talked about the space-time resonator,
yes,
you mentioned that frequency was the frequency used for achieving the tunneling effect. And I'm wondering about that because the space-time resonator also appears to be a way to bring energy down from space-time, yeah?
We said it is a step-down transformer.
The energy that flows through the space-time resonator is not an electron-type energy, isn't it?
No. Although it can be converted into such.
In the conversion, would it work to use an inductive method? In other words, to create the space-time resonator, which is a closed loop.
Yes.
And then wrap around that another kind of coil, a reactant coil?
Yes, because that's how you have to siphon the energy off and translate it into a form of energy that you can use.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
In building that apparatus,
yes,
what would change the nature of the energy by the windings per meter? In other words, if I had a coil that had, say, 5 windings per meter,
yes,
what would that do differently than one that, say, had 30 windings per meter, like a higher rate of winding? What would be the difference?
It would be something that you could fine-tune more easily rather than simply having a coarse translation.
Okay. Right. So the lower winding is a coarser form of it.
And thus, in a sense, less usable or less controllable.
Okay. So it would make sense.
It would act as a form of high volume release capacitor discharging all at once. It could cause a little damage.
I see.
But the more windings, the finer the tuning, the more you have the ability to tune the frequency to exactly the pitch you wish.
It's kind of like a higher resolution of control. And in controlling it, do we change the physical length of the wire to tune it, or can I just use a reactant circuit to do that? Like a capacitor resistor circuit.
You can use that if you wish, but you will have to find a new design other than the ones that exist on your planet at this time. And we have already actually described this as a series of nested capacitors of certain volume and certain shape that create certain resonant frequencies within one the other.
That's in one of the other transmissions.
Yes, it is.
Nested capacitors, that's really interesting.
Yes, it is.
Because the space-time resonator is a nested coil.
Yes, it is.
It's starting to make sense.
Thank you. It's about time.
We're kind of thick at this point in our track.
No, that's all right. I wasn't making a reference to that. I was giving you more information. It's about time.
Oh, it's about time and frequency.
Yes.
Interesting.